If you find yourself staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., desperate for rest but with your mind racing, you aren't broken. Your body's arousal system has simply hijacked your sleep drive. But there is a specific biological off-switch you can trigger to reclaim your night. And it starts with understanding why fighting for sleep is the very thing keeping you awake. That feeling that your body is working against you is something I hear from patients almost every single day. And here is the fascinating truth that most people miss. The issue is rarely that you can't sleep. The real issue is that your body has forgotten that it is safe to sleep. You see, standard advice usually tells you to drink warm milk or count sheep. However, if your internal arousal system is firing, if your biological alarm is ringing, no amount of warm milk is going to shut it off. It's like trying to put out a forest fire with a water pistol. Today, we are going to go much deeper than the standard advice. We are going to walk through a specific, scientifically grounded protocol to reset that alarm. We will explore 4 specific layers of this solution. We'll start with essential insight number 4, a habit reset that stops the panic before it starts. Then, we'll move to strategy number 3 and secret number 2, which act as physiological brakes for your nervous system. And finally, you must stay tuned for our game-changing revelation number 1. This is the mental technique that effectively tricks your brain into the exact state required for deep slumber. It is a method so counterintuitive, yet so effective, that it is often the missing piece of the puzzle for almost everyone who wakes up in the middle of the night. But first, if you're ready to reclaim your nights, do me a favor and click that subscribe button. Join our community of healthy, proactive seniors who are rewriting the rules of aging. Just a quick, important reminder. All the information shared today is for educational purposes. Everyone's health situation is unique, so please consult your doctor or healthcare provider before making any significant changes to your diet, exercise, or health regimen, especially if you have pre-existing conditions or are on medication. Let's use this knowledge to have informed discussions with them. Now, let's unlock the science of falling back asleep. Let's begin with a foundational change, our essential insight number 4. This might sound simple on the surface, but it addresses the single biggest trigger for cortisol spikes in the middle of the night. The question we need to ask is, what is the very first thing you do when you wake up? For most of us, the answer is automatic. We look at the clock. Here is where the trouble begins. When you wake up and see those glowing red numbers, 3:14 a.m., your brain doesn't just register the time. It immediately begins a process of sleep math. You think, okay, if I fall asleep right now, I'll get 3 hours. But if it takes me an hour, I'll only get to, I have that appointment tomorrow, so I'll be exhausted. This mental calculation is disastrous for sleep. But, and this is crucial, it's not just an innocent thought. It triggers a physiological response. This sleep math signals your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, that there is a threat. The amygdala responds by releasing cortisol and adrenaline. Think of it this way. Looking at the clock when you want to sleep is like opening the oven door every 10 minutes to see if your soufflé has risen. Every time you open that door or look at the clock, you let the heat out and ruin the process. The heat in this metaphor is your sleep pressure. By checking the time, you are actively cooling down your sleep drive and heating up your arousal system. Many people think, I just need to know the time, so I know how much rest I can get. Consequently, they keep the clock facing them. However, health experts and sleep psychologists emphasize that knowing the time provides absolutely zero benefit in that moment. It provides only data for your anxiety to feed on. So, the actionable advice for insight number 4 is strict. Turn the clock around. Cover it if you have to. If you use your phone as an alarm, place it face down across the room. Do not check it. If you wakaba, assume it is nighttime and that you have plenty of time. By removing the data point of time, you remove the fuel for the sleep math fire. You are telling your brain, there is no deadline. We are just resting. This stops the secondary wave of stress hormones, which is often what keeps people awake far longer than the initial disturbance. Now that we've removed the stress trigger of the clock, we need to actively address the state of your body. This leads us to key strategy number 3. You might be lying there thinking, I'm not stressed. I'm just awake. But biologically, Your body is likely in a state of sympathetic arousal, light, fight, or flight mode. We need to manually switch you over to the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest mode. As we age, our transition between these states can become a bit sticky. We might get stuck in that alert mode, even when we feel tired. The challenge here is that you cannot think your way into relaxation. You can't just command your heart rate to slow down. This is where many people fail. They try to use their mind to calm their body. Therefore, we must do the opposite. Use the body to calm the mind. We need a physical override switch. To understand this, use this analogy. Imagine your body is a high-performance car speeding down the highway. Waking up at 3 a.m. is like the car engine revving high. You can't just take your foot off the gas and expect to stop immediately. You need to press the brake pedal. In the human body, the brake pedal is the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve runs from your brain down to your abdomen, and it controls your heart rate and relaxation response. We can physically stimulate this nerve to force the body to slow down. Now, this involves a specific breathing pattern. It is very gentle, but if you have any respiratory issues like COPD or asthma, just listen to your body. If the counts feel too long, shorten them. Comfort is key here. The technique is called for 7-8 breathing. It's a rhythmic pattern that acts as a tranquilizer for the nervous system. Here is exactly how you do it. First, inhale quietly through your nose for a count of 4. Second, hold the breath for a count of 7. Third, exhale completely through your mouth, making a whooshing sound for a count of 8. Why these numbers? The 4-second inhale forces you to take in more oxygen. The 7-second hold gives your bloodstream time to absorb that oxygen. But the magic is in the 8-second exhale. A long, slow exhale creates pressure in the chest that physically stimulates the vagus nerve. Repeat this cycle 4 to 8 times. You might feel a little lightheaded. That's just the oxygen. What you will notice almost immediately is your heart rate dropping. You are physically shifting gears from alert to rest. You are pressing the brake pedal. So, we've stopped the time anxiety, and we've slowed the heart rate. But there is often a hidden thief of sleep still lurking in the body. Residual muscle tension. This brings us to vital secret number 2. Even when you think you are relaxed, you are likely holding tension in microscopic ways. Clenched jaws, raised shoulders, a tight forehead. This physical tension sends a feedback signal to the brain that says, "Stay alert, we might need to move." As long as the body is tense, the brain will refuse to initiate sleep. It's a two-way street. The brain tells the muscles to tense, but the muscles also tell the brain to stay awake. Thus, to sleep, we must break this loop. Think of your body like a large office building at night. Even if the main work is done, if the lights are left on in the cubicles, your muscles, the building, your brain, is still consuming energy and assumes people are still working. We need to go floor by floor and turn off every single light switch. This technique is known as progressive muscle relaxation, PMR. It's not just relaxing, it is the deliberate act of tensing and then releasing muscles to exaggerate the feeling of release. Here is how you turn off the lights. You start at your toes and work your way up to your head. Start with your feet. Curl your toes downward tightly. Hold that tension for 5 seconds. Really feel it. Then release suddenly. Feel the tension drain out. Notice the difference between the on state and the off state. Move to your calves. Flex them hard, hold, and release. Move to your thighs, your buttocks, your stomach, your hands, make fists, your shoulders, hunch them up to your ears. Finally, scrunch up your face, squeeze your eyes shut, purse your lips, hold, and release. By doing these, you are manually verifying that every muscle group is disengaged. You are sending a loud, clear signal to your brain. The body is safe. The body is soft. There is no threat. Usually, by the time people reach their shoulders, they are already drifting off. And now, we arrive at the most powerful tool in our arsenal. We've prepped the environment, the nervous system, and the muscles. But, for many of us, the mind is still the final barrier. The body is ready to sleep, but the brain is planning the grocery list, or replaying a conversation from 1994. This brings us to game-changing revelation number 1. This is designed to bridge the gap between logical wakefulness and dreamy sleep. Why can't we just empty our minds? Because the brain is an association machine. It hates a vacuum. If you try to think of nothing, you will eventually start thinking about how bad you are at thinking of nothing. Furthermore, wakeful thinking is structured, logical, and linear. Sleep thinking, dreaming, is fragmented, visual, and bizarre. Therefore, to fall asleep, we need to stop thinking logically and start thinking in fragmented images. We need to mimic the onset of sleep to trick the brain into following along. This state is called hypnagogic imagery. It's that weird phase just before sleep where you might see a random image of a floating shoe or a purple cow. To get there, we use a technique called cognitive shuffling. Imagine your brain is a radio receiver. Right now, it's tuned to the worry station, crystal clear news, weather, and active concerns. We want to tune it to the dream station, which is just static and random music. But we can't just switch the dial. We have to scramble the signal of the worry station so it can't broadcast anymore. Here is how you perform the cognitive shuffle. It's a mental game that is engaging enough to stop you from worrying, but boring enough to put you to sleep. Step 1. Pick a neutral word with at least 5 letters. Let's use the word blanket. Step 2. Start with the first letter, B. Think of a word that starts with B, for example, bowl. Step 3. This is the critical part. Visualize the ball. See it bouncing. Don't tell a story about it. Just see the image for a second. Step 4. Think of another B word, baby. See the baby. Step 5. Another B word, bus. See the bus. Keep going with B until you run out of easy words. Step 6. Now move to the next letter in blanket, which is L. Think of leaf. See the leaf. Think of ladder. See the ladder. Think of lemon. Taste the lemon. Step 7. Move to a apple, ant, anchor. By doing this, you are forcing your brain to focus on random, neutral visual associations. This breaks the pattern of linear, logical worry loops. You are essentially speaking the language of sleep visuals rather than the language of wakefulness, logic. It is incredibly difficult for the brain to maintain high-stress arousal while you are visualizing a lemon, then a ladder, then a llama. The biological mismatched signals confuse the arousal system, causing it to shut down and hand the keys over to the sleep system. Most people rarely make it past the 3rd or 4th letter of their chosen word before they drift into unconsciousness. It works because it occupies the brain just enough to prevent worry, but not enough to keep you awake. And there you have it. Our game-changing revelation. Number 1. The cognitive shuffle. It might seem surprising that imagining a bus or a lemon could be the key to fixing chronic wakefulness. But as we've explored, it's all about working with your biology, not fighting against it. So let's quickly recap the toolkit we've built today. We started with essential insight number 4, turning that clock around to stop the sleep math anxiety. We moved to the key strategy number 3, using 4-7-8 breathing to physically press the brake pedal on your nervous system. We added vital secret number 2, the body scan to turn off the lights in your muscles. And finally, we unleashed the cognitive shuffle, the ultimate way to scramble the worry signal and drift into dreams. Each of these is a powerful stepping stone to a more vibrant, healthier you. Waking up in the middle of the night doesn't have to be a sentence of suffering. It can just be a brief intermission before the second act of your rest. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these insights resonated with you the most? Are you a clock watcher who needs to turn it around? Or are you excited to try the cognitive shuffle tonight? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I read them, and I love hearing how you are taking charge of your health. If you found this journey through these sleep discoveries valuable, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps others find our community. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more powerful strategies tailored for our fantastic group of healthy seniors. Until next time, stay healthy, stay curious, and keep thriving.